In the early 1990s Beverly Hills, as night fell, those revered film stars, politicians and tycoons would dial a number in secluded private clubs. On the other end of the line was Heidi Fleiss, a woman in her 20s who held the city's map of desire in her hands. She never appeared on the silver screen, yet she struck more awe and unease into the powerful elite than any Hollywood actress. The reason was simple: her legendary Black Book held records of secrets damning enough to ruin any reputation overnight. Tonight, let us sit by the gently flickering fireplace and walk into the real life of Heidi Fleiss through this story, one you need not memorize by heart. This is a tale of how luxury fades into emptiness, and how power is traded behind closed doors and shadowed rooms. She was a ferryman of Vanity Fair, witnessing the triviality of countless souls before money, only to end up realizing she was nothing but a disposable pawn in this grand farce. People readily label her with the degrading term, Madam, ignoring the intricate web of social power standing behind her. Born into an elite family, she was meant to follow a straight path to an elegant life, yet she chose to dive headfirst into the turbulent currents of forbidden territory. Now, relax your mind, and let us return to that Los Angeles night filled with champagne bubbles. Heidi Fleiss did not start her life in a slum or a broken family, as many imagined. Her father was a respected pediatrician and her mother a teacher. She grew up in a wealthy, well-educated household. Beneath the Los Angeles sunshine, young Heidi showed rebellion and perceptiveness beyond her years, resenting the tedious, rigid rules laid out for her. At the age of 20, she met a man who would change her fate, Bernie Kaufman, an old hand immersed in underground gambling and illegal dealings. If Kaufman taught her how to walk in the shadows, the infamous former Madam Alex truly initiated her into the trade. Heidi quickly realized the old-fashioned way of running the business was outdated, and she resolved to restructure this age-old industry with an entrepreneurial mindset. Instead of recruiting destitute street girls, she scouted aspiring models, actresses and even college students, dressing them in haute couture and training them in refined etiquette. In her hands, it was no longer a sordid physical transaction, but an elaborately packaged psychological game exclusive to the ultra-wealthy. She rented the most luxurious mansion in Beverly Hills, where every carpet and every bottle of red wine exuded supreme opulence. Powerful figures flocked to her side. They sought not just companionship, but a sense of control only Heidi could offer. It was the peak of Heidi's power. She earned a fortune daily, attended top-tier parties, and her reputation loomed large in the underworld. Yet amid countless toasts and celebrations, Heidi would often stand alone on the terrace, gazing at the glittering city below, overcome by an inexplicable chill in her heart. This sense of coldness was no illusion. In Beverly Hills, the strongest alliances are often built on fragile interests. As Heidi Fleiss's business grew larger and her lifestyle increasingly flamboyant, she began appearing frequently in front of media cameras, a fatal taboo in her line of work. She was well aware of the need for discretion, yet few could stay sober trapped in the whirlwind of extravagance and indulgence. She fell into drug addiction, and the illusory euphoria made her believe she was above the law and morality. By then, the LAPD and federal agents had set their sights on her. They aimed not only to take down the Hollywood Madam, but also to seize the infamous Black Book holding countless elite secrets. The ledger filled with top celebrities' privacy was both Heidi's get-out-of-jail card and a sword of Damocles hanging over her head. In 1993, authorities raided her luxury apartment and arrested Heidi. The mysterious book instantly became the focal point of a nationwide media frenzy. Yet Heidi showed extraordinary fortitude, refusing to reveal any client's name, even if it meant facing a harsher sentence. The irony of Vanity Fair could not be starker. A woman who traded in desire guarded the dignity of those hypocrites, while they all shunned her outside the courtroom. In court, Heidi remained impeccably dressed, her eyes filled with a knowing cynicism as if she had seen through all the lies. She watched the dignitaries who once bowed and scraped to her now treat her like a plague, and the last trace of her faith in human emotion shattered completely. Her downfall was never just a personal failure. It was a bloody crack torn open in the glittering lie called Hollywood. Prison life was a forced detox for Heidi, as well as an endless, profound introspection. Behind prison bars, there were no designer handbags, custom gowns, nor the hollow respect of sycophants. She began to reminisce about those nights, when men and women exchanged kisses and money in her self-built paradise, yet never a single sincere heart. She came to understand that her carefully built empire was essentially a ruin erected on shifting sand. Upon her release, Heidi was no longer the influential queen who once ruled the shadows. Her reputation was tarnished beyond repair, yet she gained an uncanny sense of freedom because of it. She chose never to return to Beverly Hills, making a decision that shocked everyone, moving to the deserts of Nevada. In the small town of Pahrump, she bought an ordinary house and lived with dozens of rare macaws. The parrots were temperamental, noisy, and even prone to attacking her, but Heidi always said they were far more genuine than humans. At the very least, they never told lies. She ran a tiny laundromat aptly named Dirty Dirty, spending her days surrounded by the scent of laundry detergent and the rumble of dryers. The former, Hollywood Madam, became an eccentric woman feeding parrots amid the dusty desert winds. This dramatic twist of fate was steeped in tragedy, yet it also carried a quiet peace after all the dust had settled. She still granted interviews with journalists, speaking of her past in a calm tone as if telling someone else's story. Nights in the desert were always eerily silent, broken only by the occasional squawk of parrots, and the wailing wind sweeping over the rocks. Amid such solitude, Heidi Fleiss finally found a balance, one without pretense, without transaction. She once said she had no regrets about her past choices, for it was her way of observing the world, flawed and controversial as it was. At the heart of Vanity Fair, she saw through the arrogance of power and the triviality of human desire. Most of the illustrious names once listed in her black book have faded into the dust of time or become entangled in new scandals. Though stripped of wealth and status, Heidi found a raw, unpolished truth uniquely her own in this desolate land. Her life has been a half-century-long experiment on the meaning of value. When all glamorous facades are stripped away, what remains of the soul? The answer may lie in every seed she feeds her parrots, and every ordinary afternoon she spends beside her old washing machine. She no longer craved anyone's approval, for she had wagered all her chips in the game of fame and fortune, and finally seen through the dealer's tricks. Against the sunset-dyed wilderness, Heidi Fleiss stood tall and slender, unyielding in her solitude. And so the story of Heidi Fleiss draws to a gentle close. She was no hero, and by many moral standards she was a fallen soul. Yet she lived vividly in the fault line of that hypocritical era. When the feast of money and power came to an end, she was the one left to clean up the wreckage. Looking back on her journey from glitz to desolation, we may feel a diluted sense of fate. No matter how magnificent the bubble, it is destined to burst. Today, Heidi may well be sitting on the porch of her desert home, watching the sky darken, her heart calm as still water. The secrets locked in the black book have long drifted away with the wind, no longer a weapon to blackmail fate, only bitter memories that occasionally surface late at night. On this quiet night you need not remember, may you let go of heavy desires and anxieties, and find your own spiritual wilderness. Let all tangled, noisy and restless thoughts sink into the valley along with this story. Your warm bed is your only harbor tonight, no need to worry about the trivialities of tomorrow. May Heidi Fleiss's life bring you no excitement, but peace and tranquility after seeing through the vanity of the world. Good night, and sweet dreams always be with you.